I really truly believe in how powerful it can be when you sort of use the deliberate diversity that we have at Pearson, and rather than just ignore it.
Being at a place like Pearson UWC, we are surrounded by 200 people and every single person has a different story, a different perspective, and a unique identity that you can, learn about. And you might have disagreements, but I think that's very valuable to be able to have access to other perspectives and opinions. And I think Global Lunches is a really amazing way for us to kind of engage with that.
Is that you hear about those very theoretical concepts through the perspectives of people that have lived those events. You get to view a very unique to the location perspective.
Global Lunches is a space, a free space for people to present their topics, and not only to present, but to actually engage with the audience, because Global Lunches is a more intimate kind of space. So there's actually a connection between those students and the person that they are hearing from, because they're not people that they have just met. They're like people who they have been seeing from all the year, and they're people who they know. So in Global Lunches is a space that people, friends basically, or people that you know, explain topics that are really important to them and that they really affect them, and topics that are of geopolitical importance and relevance to that audience of students, and not only of students, but we also have a lot of adults that are engaged with these Global Lunches, because it's a unique opportunity to get to listen problems from first perspectives of people who suffer from them.
Overall, we just try to prioritize kind of guiding people through something that might be unfamiliar to them, while also giving a space for people who have been interested in that, who have been part of it, who have felt the kind of consequences of those things, give them also a space to be talking with each other about it.
Because of our lovely supervisor, adult supervisor, Sherry, who's been supporting us throughout this initiative since last year. She also organized a professional facilitation training for us, which was around 4 or 5 hours. And through that, we gained a lot of skills. The whole team, I think we can all agree that we gained a lot of skills to learn how we can sort of manage if there was to happen any sort of complications during a global lunch. But thankfully, as everyone has mentioned, the community is really respectful, and that doesn't happen almost ever.
Healthy relationships between countries, or even a little bit of like competition, I find that really interesting, and just kind of seeing how the world works, and I really want to be a part of that. I think coming to Pearson has only made this dream stronger, especially with Global Lunches. I realize how effective it can be at bringing people together, diplomacy, through like communication and understanding.
I think that it's very hard to hate somebody if you understand what has shaped them as a person and why they behave the way they do. And through Global Lunches, we get to know people's backgrounds, and those are the people we live with. So we create this very strong bond that is a force towards peace.
For me, that was very much some of the presentations around, for example, we had one around the war in Ukraine, and coming from Romania, we border Ukraine, and I know refugees back home, and sometimes you'll find yourself just kind of looking at that, talking through that, and you think that it's quite separate from you, but then it's like, oh, those buildings look exactly like the ones back home. And I think that's a big part of managing this international context, is the fact that for some people this is going to be entirely separate from their context, and for other people they're going to understand, they're going to feel it, and that can be cathartic, and that can be trigger. And there's and that's why we do try to give trigger warnings and things like that as we make them. I know those can be pretty controversial, but I try to err on the side of making sure people are just kind of safe when it comes to topics like this.
This famous phrase that Pearson says, and we have really present in this UWC because we carry his name and in some sense his legacy about peace specifically. With global lunches, we are really related to that idea because what we try in every single session is to promote an environment in which people can understand new things and new perspective about geopolitical aspects and about not only geopolitical aspects, because that's kind of separating it from the real meaning, because more than that they are human things. And what we promote with these sessions is that understanding that we try to achieve that every single person who comes to a global lunch goes away understanding the person who was presenting, and the person who was presenting tries also to understand while he designs his presentation his audience, and tries to understand what they might think and how his explanation can explain to other people with other perspectives. So in general, with this understanding that we have spoken about so much, what we search for ultimately is just to protect that peace, because when you get to know another human being and you get to know how they think and why things happen like they happen and why people take things like they take them, what happens is that you eventually, that's a chain that promotes peace, because you will not want to harm another human being just because when you are aware of them being a human being, and by listening to them, that awareness is more real than ever.
I do believe that student-led initiatives like global lunches have the impact to make change, because also we start in a very small scale at Pearson College with our 200 people community. The decisions we make can be shared and disseminated across the world. And with the development we have done recently as a team, with our new website, our YouTube and Instagram page, the resolutions we have found and the discussions we have shared have been shared in other communities outside of Pearson. And that's how many little changes across the world can become one strong force to unite people.
Student-led means youth-led, and I think that really signifies like the change that's happening in the world where youth are taking power and initiative, and that's really important because that's changing the precedent that's been around the world. And I think being at UWC is already one kind of way at having youth, take charge, but global lunches is a really good example of that actually coming to fruition. And so I think this is a great step towards the future where, the youth are the ones making the decisions for how the world is, going to be.
It would be nice to go more public rather than just Pearson. Sort of waving the idea of making a website. I had some free time and just worked on the website, and then we published it. My teammates also wrote some stuff, descriptions for the website. And the main goal of it is to spread it, not just to Pearson, but also to other UWCs. So that's the hope. And then next year, the first year leaders will try to spread it through the Inter-UWC Council especially. And then also perhaps, because it is something that's really important that I and everyone on the team believes in, perhaps even taking it with us to university.
We would like to encourage our first years that are potentially watching this video to come to Pearson College with an open mind and try to embody the UWC values that shape us all. And when coming to campus this September, be brave and lead a global lunch. It's going to be a great opportunity for you to share your passions with the rest of the community. And it's an initiative that's going to shape and change the way you think about the world. My goal for my future is to find something I'm truly passionate about and can speak to many different issues that are happening around the world.
Since I was a kid, I've been wanting to pursue diplomacy, especially international diplomacy.
That I'd like to, be a scientist, but also not one that sort of just doesn't know about global issues. But yeah, I'd like to grow my understanding of the world.
I want to become a literature teacher. Yeah, I really loved doing the facilitation work that I've done here.
I would just like to keep trying to have my mind as open as possible and keep trying to make even the smallest positive impact